completed unit number 3, surface field 3. Now this is unit number 4, and that is again very important and interesting unit called volumetric analysis. Volumetric analysis. Now you can see the title of the lesson itself indicates we are going to do some analysis, and the way of doing analysis is volumetric. So you might have studied, if suppose if you prepare some compounds, and after preparing that compound we are supposed to do the analysis of that compound, which are the elements are present, what are the percentage of the element present, what is their structural formula, what is their molecular formula, what is their integral formula, what is their properties, what is their density. All these things can be analyzed, they can be studied very well with the help of this unit called volumetric analysis. Means I just wanted to explain now, tell you why this lesson is important from the point of our syllabus and from the point of our higher studies or in our professional life. Suppose some compound is given, we are using so many organic compounds in our day-to-day life. Example, vinegar is available, which are used widely in our day-to-day life. So I want to find out how much amount of vinegar is present in the given sample. So to find out the amount of vinegar present in the given sample of the bottle, we have to do the analysis. And the methods of analysis will be a volumetric analysis. As a second example I will do, I want to find out the amount of iron, the ferrous iron which is present in the apple. I want to find out the amount of Fe2 plus iron in the blood, in the hemoglobin. I want to find out the amount of silver in the silver coin. I want to find out the amount of caustic soda present in the given sample. So all these things can be estimated, can be derived, can be obtained, can be analyzed with the help of this experiment, with the help of this lesson called volumetric analysis. So now to do this analysis, I want to find out the purity of any sample, purity of solid, purity of liquid, purity of solution. So that purity also can be analyzed with the help of this lesson called volumetric analysis. As we know, in our chemistry there are two types of analysis. One is called gravimetric and second is called volumetric. Gravimetric means in terms of weight. Volumetric means we are going to estimate in terms of volume. And when we talk about volumetric analysis, so there are four types of volumetric analysis. Four types of volumetric analysis are of two types: gravimetric and volumetric. We are not supposed to discuss what is gravimetric because that is in terms of weight. I want to find out in terms of volume. So that can be done with the help of volumetric analysis. And if somebody is going for volumetric analysis, then there are four types of volumetric analysis. And these four types of volumetric analysis is classified on the basis of the type of reaction taking place between burette solution and conical flask solution. Burette solution and conical flask solution, you can also call titrand and titrand. TITRAND and TITRANT, titrand and titrand. So remember which type of reaction is taking place between the burette solution and the conical flask solution. So generally it is observed that four types of reactions are generally involved during the course of the titration, during the course of volumetric analysis. And based on these four types of reactions, we can classify the volumetric analysis into four types. The very first type of volumetric analysis is called neutralization titration, because there are neutralization reaction take place. When you add a solution of burette into the solution of conical flask, there is a neutralization reaction. If there is a neutralization reaction taking place between titrant and titrate, then you can call that type of titration as neutralization titration, a neutralization analysis. Second type of titration that is called as precipitation titration, means there is a formation of precipitate during the course of the estimation or analysis or titration. Therefore, that second type of titration is called precipitation titration. The third type is called the complexometric titration. Means there is a formation of complex, coordination bond, coordination compound. If such type of complex is formed, if such type of coordinate bond is going to form during the titration, during the analysis, then that is the third type of titration or analysis called complexometric titration or analysis. And the last type is that is called as potentiometric, that is called as a Rock's titration, or sometimes also called potentiometric analysis. Potentiometric. So potentiometric titration or potentiometric analysis means if there is a Rock's reactions are taking place, simultaneous oxidation reductions are taking place, then the fourth type of titration or analysis that is called potentiometric titration. So remember, depends upon the type of the sample, which type of samples you are going to analyze. Based on that, you can decide the type of the volumetric analysis. If your sample is acidic, means you are going to do a neutralization titration. Because amount of acid is determined in terms of amount of base consumed. And whenever acid and base react, there is always neutralization. And that type of volumetric analysis is called neutralization titration. And similarly, there is a formation of precipitate. If there is a formation of precipitate during the course of the titration, means there is a precipitation titration. Similarly, there is a complex formation reaction. Similarly, there is a Rock's reaction. So these are the four types of reactions generally involved in taking place during the course of our volumetric analysis. Now we are supposed to discuss all these four types. Now if suppose somebody, sometime neutralization titration is also called as acid-base titration. It is also called acid-base titration. So now this is neutralization, this is precipitation, this is complexometric, this is potentiometric. In neutralization titration, again we are having three types of neutralization titration. Three types of acid-base or neutralization analysis is there. One is called strong acid, strong base. If whether the acid and base which is going to neutralize during the course of titration, what is their nature? They are strong or they are weak. If both are strong, you can call it strong acid, strong base titration. Means it is a type of neutralization titration, but what is the strength of the acid and base? If both are equally strong, say it is strong base titration. Second is called strong acid, weak base titration. Third is called as weak acid, strong base titration. One more is there, fourth one is there, that is called weak acid and weak base titration. But generally we don't go for weak acid, weak base. So depending upon the strength of acid or base which are used in the titrations or in the acid base titration or neutralization titration, the acid base or neutralization titrations are of four types. Strong base, strong acid weak base, weak acid strong base, weak acid and weak base titration. These are the four. So remember, depending upon the type of sample, I am telling so many times I am telling, depending upon the type of the sample, which sample you are going to analyze. Depending upon the type of the sample, the type of the volumetric analysis can be used. This is what we call as an acid-base titration, which are of four types. In the same way, in precipitation titration, again there are three types of precipitation titration, depending upon the type of indicator used. Which indicator used? What is the color of the precipitate which is formed at the end point? So depending upon the type of indicator used, depending upon the color of the precipitate formed at the end point, precipitation titration is again divided into three types. One is called Morse method. Second is called Flajan's method. And third is called Woolard's method. what is called molars. These are the three types of precipitation titration classified on the basis of the type of indicator used or the color of the precipitate is formed. You will see each type in details. Here we will see 4 types. Here we will see 3 types. If somebody is talking about precipitation, then ask which precipitation? Moles, phasals, volars. Because in each precipitation titration, different types of indicator, different color of the PPT is formed at the end point. This is about what we call 3 types of precipitation titration. After this, now next is that is called complexometric titration. In complexometric titration, there is what I will call, there is only one type. There is only one type. That is nothing but called as a that is called direct titration. Direct complexometric titrations. Or some there is an indirect also is there, but we will see only direct titrations. There is only one type. In potentiometric titration, we have one is called as iodometric is there. Iodometric. Second is called iodimetric. And the third is called as a potentiometric. Potentiometric type of titration. These are the 3 types of potentiometric titration. Yeah, you can also call redox titration. Because why I am calling it as redox? Because during the titration there is a redox reactions are taking place. So potentiometric analysis means redox titration is classified again into 3 types: iodometric, iodimetric, and potentiometric. These are the 3 types which comes under potentiometric, where whether it is iodo, whether it is iod, whether it is potential. In all the 3 cases, there are redox reactions. Only the difference is called iodo and iod and potentiometric. All these 3 types we will see in details in the coming lectures. So remember 4 types is here, 4 type इधर है, 3 types here, precipitation, 3 plus 7, plus 1 type is in complexometric, 8, and plus 3 types under potentiometric titration. Means our means total we are supposed to discuss 4 plus 6, 7, 7 plus 1, 8, 8 plus 3, 11 examples, 11 types of volumetric analysis we are going to discuss throughout this lesson. Now let's study one by one each titration in details. First of all, let's start with first neutralization titration. First of all, let's see about neutralization titration. Titration, or you can call volumetric analysis, or you can also call acid-base titration. If somebody is doing neutralization titration or acid-base titration, then you know how many steps are involved in performing or in doing neutralization titration. So let's see one by one each step. Step number 1. If somebody is using this titration for doing some analysis, he has to follow first step, second step, third step, fourth step. So like this way, after going through each step, then finally we will get the result of that analysis. The very first step is called as preparation of solution. First, preparation of solution. You are supposed to prepare a solution, whatever may be substance. You have given some substance for doing some analysis. You dissolve that substance in a suitable solvent and prepare a solution of a desired concentration. The first step in doing neutralization titration is preparation of solution. You will see what are the types of solutions and how to prepare the solution. Second step in the acid-base titration is that is called as a preparation of solution, and after that now once solution is ready, then go for titration. Means we will do the analysis, we will start doing the titration, or we will start doing volumetric analysis. So preparation, then titration. So after titration, the next step is calculation. Whatever values are obtained during titration, that values are substituted in the formula called calculation. So preparation, titration, calculation, and after doing calculation, you will get the last step called result. Now here comes the result. Here is the end of your analysis. इस तरीके से आपका एनालिसिस है. तो आप whenever you are doing volumetric or acid base titration, remember you have to follow all these 4 steps. You have to start first preparation of the solution. Then once solution is ready, all solutions are ready, then you go for titration. You will see each step in detail. Once titration is over, whatever values of titrations are obtained, substitute in the formula and do the calculation. That is calculation. Then that calculations are finally from that calculation you will get a conclusion or you will get a result table. You will get a result. Yes, this was the sample and these are the result. These are the things are present in the milligram or in the milliliter, etc., etc. So these are what we call as the steps involved in the neutralization titration or acid base titration. Now, the very first step is preparation of solution. Now, if you are preparing solutions are of 2 types. There are 2 types of solutions are generally used in acid base titration, neutralization titration. One is called as primary standard. One is called primary standard, and second is called secondary standard. Primary standard and second is called secondary standard. So you know primary standard means what is mean by a primary standard substance या primary standard solution. Primary standard मतलब क्या? The substance whose solution when it is prepared and gives exact normality. है ना? For example, मेरे पास I have one substance like NaCl. I want to prepare 1 molar NaCl solution. या 0.1 molar NaCl. 1 molar NaCl, you can take 58.5 gram of NaCl dissolved in 1 liter. Or you want to prepare 5 molar, take 5.85 gram of NaCl dissolved in 1 liter. So after taking 58.5 gram of NaCl dissolved in 1 liter, whatever solution is obtained, if you go and measure its concentration, it will be exactly 1 molar. Means the substance whose exact concentration of the solution can be prepared. Exact concentration. 1 molar means take 50 gram. मतलब 1 molar it will not be 0.8 molar, 0.9 molar. It will be exactly 1 molar. So such substance whose exact weight or exact concentration of the solution can be obtained, can be prepared. That type of substance are called as primary standard. उसको हम primary standard कहते हैं. For example, there are so many examples where that substance can become primary standard. Which substance which comes under primary standard category? Which substance when dissolved in a given solvent, suitable quantity of solvent will give exact concentration of solution. So remember that substance should not be hygroscopic. That substance should not get oxidized. It should be having high molecular weight, high equivalent weight. Similarly, it should be very stable. It should not react under any condition. So if your substance is not hygroscopic, if it is stable, if it is not oxidizing, or if it is having high molecular weight or equivalent weight, such substance when dissolved in a given quantity of suitable solvent will give you exact concentration. If suppose I will take this example, suppose I लेता हूँ copper sulfate. So copper sulfate is not a primary standard substance because it is associated with 5 water molecule of crystallization. If I want to prepare 1 molar copper sulfate solution, I will take the required amount of copper sulfate and dissolve in water. After dissolving in water, you will not get exact 1 molar because some amount of water is lost. You will not get an exact weight because there is a water of crystallizations are there. So therefore, so while taking the weight for preparing 1 molar copper sulfate solution, you will not get the exact weight which is required to prepare 1 molar. Some weight will be because there is a water of crystallization and because there is hygroscopic. And therefore, such substance will not give exact concentration of solution. Such substances are not primary standard. Similarly, if I take K2 standard solution, yes, it is primary standard because it is stable, having high molecular, high permeability, not hygroscopic, not oxidizing, stable compound. And if I will prepare 0.1 molar potassium dichromate, so whatever weight will be taken and dissolved in the given solvent will give exact 0.1 molar. It will not be less and more than. You will get exact concentration. So such substance which when dissolved in a given quantity of suitable solvent will give you exact concentration of the solution. Such solutions are called primary standard, and the substance is called primary standard solution. Primary standard substance. After this, the next substance is called secondary standard. Secondary standard means this will not give exact concentration. Means your substance may be hygroscopic, it may be oxidizing in air, or while preparing that solution, you will not record the exact weight, and therefore when you dissolve in the water given quantity of solvent, you will not exact concentration. So the substance which when dissolved in a given quantity of suitable solvent will not give you exact concentration of the solution, because that substance are unstable, hygroscopic, oxidizing, unstable, and therefore this substance will be a secondary standard substance, or they will not secondary standard substance, or they will not give exact concentration of the solution. So always remember, whenever you are preparing solution, check what type of substance it is. वो substance कौन सा है, primary है कि secondary है? Primary मतलब you will get exact concentration. Then you are not supposed to standardize. आपको standardize करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वो उसका exact concentration है. Because that substance are primary standard substance that satisfy the conditions. हाँ, अगर आपका substance secondary है, then it is need to just standardize, because whatever solution will be prepared will not be exact concentration. इसका exact concentration नहीं होगा. So therefore, then like this way you will prepare the solution. You will find out what type of substance it is. Once you identify the substance, then prepare the solution. अब solution बनाने का भी तरीका होता है. अब आप solution बना रहे हैं, तो solutions बनाने के बाद you need to express the concentration. आपको concentration express करना पड़ेगा. You have to prepare a solution of certain concentration. So what are the ways of measuring the concentration? What are the methods of expressing the concentration of solution? आपके पास concentration measure करने के लिए कौन-कौन से methods हैं, कौन-कौन से ways हैं? तो ये देखिए, हम ज़्यादातर laboratory level पे units to measure or to express the concentration, normality, similarly molarity, mole fraction, parts per million, etc. लेकिन हम जब भी हमारे laboratories में when we are doing some analysis, volume analysis, generally these are the 3 units which we are using to express the concentration of solution, maybe primary standard solution or secondary standard solution. So remember, normality, molarity, mole fraction, ppm, ppb, these are all small scale units. These units are used in our laboratory. If you want to go for commercial unit, bigger unit, then there is a weight person is there, volume person is there, weight by volume is there, person is there, and therefore we are not supposed to go for the commercial or bigger unit. We are going for only small scale unit. right? तो इसलिए ये चीजों को याद की. तो चलिए हम इसमें से एक सब्सटेंस लेते हैं. we'll take one substance and we'll prepare its solution, primary or secondary, and we will measure its, we will try to find out its method of expressing the concentration. तो एक एग्जांपल देखिए. For example मैं ले रहा हूँ, I will take one example of Na2CO, suppose sodium carbonate ले रहा हूँ, या I will take sodium bicarbonate, or I will take NaCl. कोई I want to prepare I want to prepare 0.1 normal solution of sodium carbonate. तो 0.1 normal बना रहे हैं, तो I have to take the required weight. मुझे उसका required weight लेना पड़ेगा. मुझे मालूम है what first you have to find out what is the you have to find out normality. You have to prepare normal solution, and we will know what is mean by normality. Normality is nothing but number of gram equivalent of solute. Number of gram equivalent of solute present in 1 liter. Present in 1 liter of solution. Number of gram equivalent of solute present in 1 liter of solution, that is called its normality. उसका नॉर्मेलिटी है, या इसको मैं मैथमेटिकल ऐसे भी लिख सकता हूं, नंबर ऑफ इक्विवेलेंट ऑफ सॉल्यूट अपॉन वॉल्यूम ऑफ सॉल्यूशन इन लीटर. लीटर मींस 1 लीटर, वॉल्यूम ऑफ सॉल्यूशन इन लीटर. दिस इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड नॉर्मेलिटी. इसको हम नॉर्मेलिटी कहते हैं. लेकिन अभी भी मुझे 0.1 नॉर्मल बनाना है, तो ये मुझे 0.1 कैसे बनाना है, कितना वेट लेना है, कितना वॉल्यूम लेना है, कितना क्वांटिटी ऑफ सॉल्वेंट लेना है, दैट आई वांट टू डिसाइड. तो नाउ number of gram equivalent is what? First we are supposed to understand this numerator term. What is meant by number of gram equivalent? So number of gram equivalent is number of gram equivalent is equal to weight of substance. Weight of substance is solute, maybe gram or kilogram, upon equivalent weight of substance. When the weight of the substance is divided by its equivalent weight, then whatever answer will be obtained is called number of gram equivalent. तो अगर आपको number of gram equivalent चाहिए, the weight of the substance should be divided by its equivalent weight. Then you will get number of gram equivalent. So now my definition is further changed. अब देखिए मेरी definition फिर से चेंज होगी. मैं normality को फिर से simplify करने जा रहा हूँ. Normality को weight of substance upon equivalent weight of substance. Clear? This ratio will give number of gram equivalent. ये दोनों मिलके number of gram equivalent into volume of solution in liter. Look at here. This is modified or simplified definition of normality. Weight of the substance in gram, equivalent weight of substance in gram, weight of substance in kilogram, equivalent weight of substance in kilogram, volume of solution in liter. अगर volume of solution ml में होता है, solution ml में होता है, यहाँ पे multiply by 1000. If the volume of solution is taken in ml, then the equation will be multiplied by 1000. So like this way you can find out. Now I will just put some terms to reduce to simplify again. Weight of the substance means W, equivalent मतलब E, volume मतलब V, and this volume in liter. This is normality. Or you can also write normality into W, weight is of the substance upon equivalent weight into volume in ml multiplied by 1000. So like this way, you with the help of this formula you can find out normality, and based on the required normality, आपको 0.1 चाहिए, 0.1 normal चाहिए. So for that, how much weight is to be taken? We know what is the equivalent weight. We know how much volume of the solution we are going to prepare. We know this. We know this. We know this. We can find out how much weight of the solute or substance taken to prepare 0.1 normal solution. So in the next lecture we will see the further part of this unit.